Today we are making baklava. Welcome to Grow Joyfully. Let's get started. You will need a 9 by 13 pan. We have a stick of butter melted. Actually, it's a stick and a quarter melted. Then we're going to need a teaspoon. I use a scant teaspoon. We're going to need a teaspoon of cinnamon and 4 cups of nuts. I chopped those up in my little Ninja food processor here, and I need 3 more cups. I tried to fit 3 cups of nuts in this smaller Ninja food processor, but you should only do 2 at the most, or you could really use your brains and use the larger size. Don't expect that of me. Make sure the cinnamon is well mixed with the nuts. Okay, here's the phyllo dough pastry sheets. I just bought the store brand from Albertsons, so we're going to get them out. I just wanted to point out that they are longer than the 9 by 13. So I just end up kind of jimmy rigging it and clipping it off with scissors, and I find a way to make it work. It doesn't look perfect like a magazine, but it tastes great. I think that phyllo pastry is very difficult to work with. It's pretty intimidating, but if I don't worry so much about the perfection of it, then I can work with it instead of getting myself all psyched out. One thing that you have to do is you have to keep it wet. Not totally wet, or that's going to make it mucky and yucky. But it has to be kept damp with a wet paper towel. So here's my wet paper towel. And I just wanted to show you how we're going to keep it covered up, because it will dry out super quickly. The idea of baklava is to build up layers. The bottom layer is fairly thick, and then after you get the bottom layer in, between each layer you have to remember to butter it really well. That's what the melted butter's for. Try to figure out where this is coming from here. Okay. So you see how thin it is. And already, just with me touching it this much, it's starting to feel dry. So it doesn't help when it starts out sticking. Okay, now I've already had a sheet come apart. What I'm just going to do is get this guy in here and fold it in half because it's so wide. And then get the melted butter. And then you just start buttering the sheets. Does it stay in place while you butter it? No. Is it easy to butter it? No. Is it worth buttering it? Yes. So I don't know how these professional cooks manage to make it look so effortless and perfect, but I am just going to make it and not worry about the perfection. Okay, one thing I did wrong already. I did not cover up the sheet in between putting a sheet in the 9 by 13. See here, I've got 2 sheets that are sticking together. When I get too frustrated and short on time, I'll just put the 2 sheets in together. To me, it doesn't make any difference. It all comes out buttery, crunchy, and delicious. So we're going to fold this. I could butter in between, and maybe I'll try this one, but the first thing we've got to do is cover it up, and I'm going to have to get another paper towel. Be right back. So I've got another paper towel that I pulled in half, and we're going to cover the rest of this up. Now we can focus on our buttering just for a minute. We're still building the bottom, the base of this baklava. So I'm going to pull this back, fix these 2 sheets. I guess there's 1 sheet there. And brush it very well with butter. I love butter. I use so much butter in all my recipes. And for those who think that margarine is better for you, fewer calories, I won't say you're crazy, but you are, and tell you how bad margarine is for your body. It doesn't melt. It's hard for your heart. It's hard for your body to process it. And it was originally made probably from corn oil to feed pigs. So you just make of that what you will. Animal fat, sorry about you vegans and perhaps even vegetarians, but animal fat is so much better for you than any of the man-made fat. So just keep that in mind. So there we go. We've got another sheet in there. Now you have to repeat the process. Okay, see how that's getting sticky? Okay. We've got another sheet or 2 in. Since it's so sticky and falling apart, I'm just going to butter the top layer of this one. So make sure you get butter on all the corners, because it'll just make it so crispy and flaky and delicious. Now I'm going to put 1 more sheet in. I did not cover it this time because it got a little bit soggy. You just really have to watch it to see how dry it gets. So if I can get this apart, I'm going to put 1 more sheet in. So get this buttered. Then the next steps are to add the nut mixture in between layers. Just sprinkle it on there. Not so that it's super thick, but that it covers. So we have that 1 layer of nuts. And we're going to add another layer of phyllo pastry. But it's starting to feel a little dry, so I'm going to cover it up with the wet paper towel. It's a lot more liquidy, so it will be easier to apply. So get that all buttered. And then you're going to add some more nuts. Okay, it looks like I have about enough nuts to do 1 more layer. I'll get this sheet back over. It's getting kind of dry. Pull this back over. That one's ripping. And get the butter on it. And then we're going to get the last layer of nuts on it. Spread that out a little. Then we're just going to build the top of it. I think I'm going to have to stop and get some more butter melted. Okay, I'm back with more butter. Finish off this layer. Then we're just going to put some layers on to make the top. What baklava is layers and layers of crunchy goodness. So we'll put this layer on. fold it, butter it, and we're going to repeat that process again. Okay, we just have a couple more layers, and I think this will probably be the last of our extra butter. So far we're about up to 1.5 cups or 3 sticks of butter. I know, totally calorie free. But hey, it's worth it, and you don't eat it all at once, right? So yes, this is the last bit of filo pastry that we're going to use. And then the next thing you're supposed to do is to get a sharp knife and score it before you bake it. Time to get a nice sharp knife. You can cut it into any shapes you want, but I like to kind of just do the sideways cut. The next thing that we will be making while this is in the oven, baking at 325, is making the syrup that goes over the top of this whole thing. Try to fix it back down. And let's get this in the oven at 325 for 75 minutes. Baklava turned out very beautifully. It's nice and crispy and light and has some crunch to it. And there's the nuts in between. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please come again. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you on the next video.